This video is called A Simple Studio Setup for Starting Your YouTube Channel for Business from the Online Growth Ladder. Okay, so this is not going to be a super technical video setup on how to set up all the technical side of video, etc. for YouTube. This is very much a beginner's guide. It's all about setting up a simple and a low-cost studio setup. It's about setting up the bare minimum equipment you need, everything you need to think about to get your first few videos off the ground and set your channel up for YouTube. And it's worth hanging around to the end of the video, as there are lots of little tips and tricks all the way through that I've learned throughout the process to help you get you going. So I'm going to cover three main areas really. I'm going to cover how you shoot the video, the equipment you need for that. I'm going to cover the studio. I call it a studio, it's not really a studio. It's just a small room. I'm also going to cover some of the video editing and other prep, etc. as well. So let's look at shooting the videos then. So the first three things you need really, obviously you need a camera, you need a tripod, something to sit the camera on basically, and you need a microphone basically. So I'll just run into the details of some typical products that I use right now for these things. Okay, so the first thing we need of course is a camera. So I've just got an iPhone here. I'm not going to spend any time on that. Everybody's got a smartphone of some sort, so you need an iPhone or you need a Samsung or some sort of smartphone. So certainly don't need me to go into much detail on that. So anyway, you need to get one of those. The next thing you need to get is a quality mic. So you need to get some sort of mic that you can connect to your iPhone. I use this mic here, the Boya MM1. It's pretty cheap, £25, which is about $33. Really cheap, really good. You've got the picture here actually shows this with the muffler on it, which is just for wind or for noisy offices or something like that. That comes off, of course. Really great little mic, and all I do is I stick this with some blue tack to the table or to whatever. Mainly to the table or something near to where I'm speaking, and I just point it at myself when I'm speaking. I just plug it into my phone. Well, actually, at the moment, I'm using this mic, and I've got it plugged into my laptop as well. So that's a great little mic, and it's really cheap. And then the next thing you need is some sort of stand. If you're going to use an iPhone or something, you need some sort of stand like this. So you need, and these are great actually. I've used this Jobby. I mean, it's quite a lot of money. It's £56, which is about $72. It's quite a lot of money, but I use this all the time. I used it a lot for all sorts of calls, WhatsApp calls, everything. I use this thing all the time. This one's actually quite small. I think it's only like 31 centimeters high, so it's only like a few inches tall. But of course, because you can move the legs and adjust the legs, then it's super flexible about how you can use it. So that's you can swivel it around, swivel the head around, etc. So that's a really good tool. So you need something similar to that so that you can sit it on top of so that you can get it as close to eye level as you possibly can. Okay, so those are the three main products that you need for shooting video. So let's talk about the studio. I've called it a studio. It's a fancy name really. All it is just a room that you can use for shooting your video. Obviously it needs to be a quiet room, or away from sort of noise and away from kids shouting, or away from a busy part of the office, etc. So you just need to find a bit of space in a room to shoot some video. Obviously you need a desk, and you need a table and a chair. You need a background of some sort. So some people use a green screen, some people have a nice background or a nice house or a nice office background that they use. And also it's important that you've got some good lighting, and you need some sort of lighting, daylight bulb or something like that to light up your face properly. And let me just show you my setup now. So this is the setup you can see here that I've got in my little studio. It's actually obviously my office, and all I did is I made a table, a very simple table. I've got the camera tripod here. I actually read off a script. I use it as a prompt. I use my laptop as a prompt, so I've got that set up there. I've obviously got the Trivial Pursuit box there to raise the camera up to eye level, so that I'm looking directly at the camera. And I've got my chair here, so that's a sort of one side of the setup in my office. And you can see that I'm using a green screen because that's my preference in actual fact. Now, obviously, you can if you're working in a nice environment, or you've got a nice space that you're working in, then obviously you can make that work for you. But what I found is that the green screen is actually easier to work with, because I can superimpose any background I want on there, and actually redecorating this office and making it look really cool and funky in the background is, that I could do that, but trying to make that look nice, I found that harder than actually buying a green screen and setting up the green screen to work for how I wanted it to work. Okay, so once you've got your studio set up, and that's going to take a little bit of messing around and fiddling around to get it the way you want it, then you need to be looking at what you're going to be using for editing your videos, so your actual videos. So of course you've got a huge range of products, video editing products on the market. There's all sorts of PC ones. I'm not a PC guy. I use a Mac, so I'm not an expert in this area at all. But these are some of the ones I know about. OpenShot, VSDC, Free Video Editor, Movie Maker 10. There's a Windows 1. And then on a Mac, you've got iMovie. These are all free ones that I've mentioned so far. And then for screen capture, you need to capture the screen basically. So, you quite often want to capture the screen if you're doing some slides, or you want to just capture the screen that you're using to show people what you've something specific on your screen. Then you can use QuickTime. I've used QuickTime quite a bit. It's pretty good. It's free as well on both Windows and on Mac. And of course you can use Zoom as well. So those are both pretty effective tools for screen capture. And then on the paid side, I use a product called ScreenFlow. This is it here. It's a really nice product. I've been using it for sort of a few months now. Pretty standard sort of video editing software. You just, with a timeline down here, the videos up here on the right, you just shoot. I mean, I shoot these videos separately, and I drop them into the timeline here. This bit of video here is what I've shot off of my screen capture, etc., etc. And obviously, when you finished editing it, then you export it out to MP4 format. MP4 I found to be much better than the .mov format. MP4 is smaller and it's basically smaller and faster to render basically. So the other thing to mention is it's really worth getting yourself an additional hard drive, an external drive or something for your machine. Obviously, when you're creating video, you create an awful lot of video and you create an awful lot of images and graphics, etc. And basically, you pretty rapidly run out of disk space. So it's pretty useful to have an additional external drive. I've just got a little Seagate here. I think 2 terabytes. It's about £80–90. It's $120 odd, something like that. It's really worth getting one of those, and you'll basically end up. You need to get into your admin of your files and name your files sensibly and be really organised in your file management, etc. And then every now and again you have to sort of hive it off your main machine onto your external drive, basically. Now, if you want to outsource some of the video editing, then you can certainly do that. You can do that to Fiverr. As long as your videos in the right format and you give them scripts, etc. I think you probably need to be quite specific about what you're going to what you're going to give them. You can get them to do the audio, they can do the full edit, etc., etc. So I urge you to go and have a look at Fiverr to see what services are available. Again, it's pretty cheap. You can get things turned around pretty fast as well, normally 24 to 48 hours. Yeah, it's definitely worth considering if you're not that into sort of doing editing of the video itself. Okay, so that was the video and the audio screen capture. Okay, so finally you need some software to create thumbnails and simple graphics for your for your channel, etc. And the go-to one really from my point of view is Canva. I've used this quite a lot. I mean, basically I cannot survive without Canva anymore. I use it so much. The free version is really good actually. You can see it's got hundreds of thousands of templates, loads of photos, thousands of fonts, etc., etc. You can go a long way even with the free version. I ended up paying for Canva Pro, which is $8.99 a month, so I don't know what that is, like $12, $13 is it, or something like that. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. The paid one pays for itself because the reason why it pays for itself is because so many stock images, but when you're creating the thumbnails, you really rapidly run out of ideas in terms of what you're going to use for your little icons, etc. So I find that paying for the Canva Pro just means that I can have so much access to all of these additional little icons and things that I put into my thumbnails to make them more interesting and a bit more sparky, basically. So I find Canva Pro fantastic. It's got loads of video in there I've never even looked at. I mean, you can see here there's 75 million stock images of photos, videos and graphics. I mean, it's just incredible. It's a really good product. I'm not an affiliate for it or anything. I just think it's a really great product. I just use it every single day. I use it for thumbnails. I use it for channel art. I use it for Facebook posts. I just use it for everything, basically. So it saves you a lot of time. It's very simple to use, etc., etc. So I'm a big fan. And then the other ones to look at, you've got Pexels and Pixabay for free images and icons and graphics as well. You can find those pretty easily. So if you need to, again, if you want photos, there's a lot of royalty-free photographs with those services as well. And I think YouTube does loads of videos as well. And finally, if you use something like ScreenFlow, then that comes with it. You can also buy a license fee for an additional set of libraries as well. And again, that's got huge libraries that comes. I think you pay a fee of $50 a year or something like that, and you get all this additional libraries of content as well. Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully there's a few tips in there that you can find. You can see you don't need to spend loads of money. It's pretty straightforward to learn these tools, and I hope it has encouraged you to sort of get going with your YouTube channel. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do lots of content for online marketing, particularly around YouTube. I'd love to hear your comments, so let me know below what you think of the equipment, what equipment you're using, etc., and any challenges that you're having. Please subscribe by clicking on the bell below, and I'll see you in the next video.